What's the story, everyone? Welcome back to Gaelic Games Fan TV. It is the Watchalong Mayo versus Dublin happening in Hyde Park. The game is just about to throw in, so apologies for being a little bit late. Obviously, the Armagh Galway game was on and everything else, so I was watching that, make it a match reaction and everything, so apologies for being a little bit late. But the game is just about to throw in, and yeah, look, feels weird not being there. I do have an L holiday booked tomorrow, so we'll be flying away quite early, so unfortunately traveling up to Roscommon or whatever way you want to put it was not on the agenda today, but we are up and running. Mayo versus Dublin, classic as always. Dublin straight away going on the attack, getting the ball into Cormac Costello, turns his man and he hits the post. He nearly popped it over there. That would have been an absolutely fantastic start there for both sides. Dublin is great. Says, come on, you boys in blue. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Come on, the boys in blue is too right. I'm not too sure about late changes or anything, but I'll try and let some of you lads know if I can. But yeah, Dublin pressing up very much on Mayo's kickouts. No real surprise there. They obviously got a huge amount of joy from it last season. Long ball into Tommy Conroy there by the looks of it, but it's gathered by Owen Merchant. He races out with it, plays it into Fenton. Of course, first time Dublin and Mayo playing each other in the championship outside Croke Park since 1926. So it's a little bit unusual, to say the least. But sure, look, here we are. It's not a knockout game as well. Must be the first ever championship game between Dublin and Mayo that's not knockout. Although the winner will go straight into the quarterfinal. So, look, there is plenty to play for. And, you know, you don't want to be in that preliminary round next week. And, you know, you will have some good teams in there like Cork are not easy cookies to beat. You're going to obviously have Derry in there as well. So, you know, there are going to be good sides. Dublin trying to play the ball through the middle, but Mayo turning over very well. Ryan O'Donoghue with some great defensive work. Mayo breaking out now with their running game. Here's Tommy Conroy on the ball, just sort of over carries it a little bit there. Wins a free from a foul from Sean Bugler. And Mayo have taken it quickly, but the referee isn't having any of it. So nothing doing there. Just looking at it for Mayo, Rory Brickenden looks to be a late change there for Mayo. Colm Basquel is in for Dublin. Sean McMahon is in as well. So yeah, two late changes. Colm Basquel obviously scored a hat-trick against Mayo in the championship last year, so there's probably no surprise to see him get given a go. But Ryan O'Donoghue standing over this free. You'd probably expect him to slot this one over the bar and for it to be a point for Mayo. But let's see what happens. O'Donoghue standing over it just outside the D. Oh, he's completely ballooned that. Mother of Moses, that's a horrendous miss there. The Dublin fans very much enjoyed it behind the goal. Just outside the D as well, fairly central. You would have expected him to pop that over, but he didn't. And there we go, brilliant kick out there from Cluxton. Plays it into Fitzsimons. Good ball into Scully. I think the referee is saying the ball went out over the sideline. Maybe the Dublin lads not so familiar with Hyde Park here, but be interesting to see that again. Looked like Fitzsimons had kept it in, or maybe he's called it back for a free, actually. He's called it back for a Dublin free, so that's the reason for that. Hopefully we do get a good game of football because, you know, the Armagh Galway game was fairly boring, really, wasn't it? It wasn't really a great game. Up until the final 20 minutes. I was actually watching more of Kildare and Laois in the Tailteann Cup. Goodness me, what's happened to Kildare? They have completely fallen apart, and it's absolutely great to see. I love it. I absolutely love it, but kind of bizarre to see it all unfold. Looks like Dublin have won a free there. Costello having his shirt pulled by Rory Brickenden, so Costello will stand over it. Should be a point, you'd imagine, here. And he does. He takes it. Good point there from Cormac Costello. First score of the game. Goes away of the Dubs. And it's a fine L score there by Cormac Costello. Mayo taking the kick out fairly quickly. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that kick out, because look, they had a lot of problems with that last season. So it's going to be interesting to see. But looks packed to the brim in Hyde Park as well. Doesn't look like there's maybe a few empty spaces here and there, but it does look almost like a complete sellout. So fair play to both sets of supporters. Great day for it as well. Weather's good, so you can't really complain. That's a good ball into Aidan O'Shea. Mick Fitzsimon's on him. Aidan O'Shea shrugs him off, charges at him, gets past him. That's very good from O'Shea. Just done a bit too much in the end, but it does get called back for a free. But very good from Aidan O'Shea. Definitely got the better of Mick Fitzsimons. He catches it well. Fitzsimon's absolutely trying his best. Like, that's the thing with Aidan O'Shea. You know, I don't think he's the best technically gifted footballer, you know, in the country. He's not going to score you 6-7 points a game. But what he is a handful. And that's him at his absolute best there. So Ryan O'Donoghue standing over this. He missed the last one. He really should score this. It's very, very close to the goal. And he has got it. It looked like just for a minute there that maybe there was going to be a bit of a breeze to catch it. But he does pop it over the bar. Ryan O'Donoghue, 1 point apiece. And it's both frees at Dublin's graces. Glenn Ryan has left the Kildare job. Would not surprise me in the slightest if that's true there. And it probably is true, because he probably look, I think probably should have left after they got relegated to Division 3, to be honest with you. And I didn't really buy the whole thing of, well, we beat Longford and Waterford, so now we're back, you know. Like, Longford and Waterford are probably two of the worst teams in the country. Like, no disrespect. But look, fair play to Laois. No idea what happened there, but Noel Scully seemed to just kind of fall over himself. So there we go. Shawnee says here, O'Shea's 90th game for Mayo behind Cluxton on 125th. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, the longevity of both of these two. The longevity in Cluxton's mental. Like, I mean, Cluxton, do you know what I mean? Like, still going. I remember him playing in 2006, 2007, and here we are nearly 20 years later, and he's still going. It's crazy. Like, you do wonder, surely this is his last year. Like, he's not gonna, you know, but still seems to have it though with his kickouts, and maybe doesn't have the range in them anymore, but he's still doing a fairly decent job, it must be said. 1 point apiece between Dublin and Mayo. Might just check some of the other scores to see what's going on. Kerry beating Louth 13-1-5. So looks like the Kingdom are getting the job done there. And Monaghan currently a point up against Meath. So it's looking like Monaghan are going to maybe get the third place. I think between Louth and Monaghan, it will be score difference. I think Louth do have a much better score difference. So even if they are getting beat by 5, they should still be okay as it stands there. But interesting stuff. Nonetheless, Mayo on the ball here with Padraig O'Hara. I think that's a good ball into Ryan O'Donoghue. Looked to be a trip, according to the referee, from Cormac Costello. So that's going to be a free for Mayo. And it was actually Dunica McHugh there who laid the ball off into Ryan O'Donoghue. Similar haircut to O'Hara, so that's probably why the confusion. But yeah, O'Donoghue standing over this. It's basically identical to the last one. So I think I jinxed him the last time when I marked it down and then he missed. But I don't think he misses this. Like, this is very, very easy now. Even closer than the last one. And makes no mistake. So Mayo lead 2-1. Mayo fans in the stands very much enjoying it so far. And Kevin McStay obviously watching on. Could be huge for Mayo, like, if they could do it. Go straight into the quarters. But look, obviously a long, long way to go here just yet. Cluxton's kick out. There is definitely a bit of a breeze there in Hyde Park, as there always is. I'm not too sure who it's actually favouring so far in the first half. But here come Dublin coming out with Kieran Kilkenny. No points from play so far after 10 minutes. All been frees. There's Scully into Con O'Callaghan. Does have Dunnach McHugh alongside him there. Be patient. Patience personified from a Dublin perspective. Dublin is great, says RTE. Should give you a job. You're better than Marty Morrissey. Well, look, I appreciate that. I appreciate the nice comments. Yeah, look, I mean, I wouldn't be against it, but here come Dublin trying to play the ball inside. Nothing really came with their Mayo now coming back out with it. It's a good start for Mayo. Good start for Mayo. Dublin haven't really got going so far. 10 points in, 10 minutes in. Here come Mayo again. This is good football. Dublin trying to get into their defensive positions. Is there going to be a first point from play? Ryan O'Donoghue hits it with the outside of his boot. That's going to be a lovely point if it drops in, but Cluxton manages to fist it away. Great stuff there from Stephen Cluxton, and almost crept in there from Ryan O'Donoghue. It would have been an absolute scorcher of a point if he had got it. Here come Dublin now going down the other end with Scully. Just the intensity doesn't quite seem to be there for Dublin. The referee has called another free here. So the referee's very trigger happy here so far with his whistle. He's blown so many frees. Like he's, 3 so far for Mayo, 2 now for Dublin. So let's see what this one's about. Scully. Yeah, it was Con O'Callaghan there getting pulled back by David McBride. Yeah, look, I mean, usually a lot of referees give them, let them go for the opening sort of 20, 25 minutes. But look, we're not complaining. Costello will stand over it and pop it over the bar. No problem at all. 2 points apiece. And, no points from play so far. But 12 minutes in. Even Stevens, a draw would be a better result for Dublin because the score difference, it would mean they would go through to the quarterfinals automatically. So, and the short kick out there by Colm Reap. Mayo nearly paid a price, but they do get away with it. And they come down the left-hand side here now, working the ball into Ryan O'Donoghue, who's very active so far for Mayo. This is good football. Dublin very well set up, though, it must be said. Gavin says, would love to see Mayo lose on my birthday. Great buzz here. Wish the Dubs came to the Hyde more often. Yeah, no, happy birthday, Gavin. Hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, look, it would be a great day, I'm sure, for yourself if Mayo were to lose. And I'm certainly hoping it happens. But here comes Tommy Conroy, and he's put it over the bar. It's a good point. Good point. Mayo just being a bit more direct so far. Like they're probably doing a bit more than Dublin. It seems like they're running more at Dublin. Definitely the probably the better team from the opening exchanges. The opening sort of 12 minutes, but look, long way to go. Dublin took the kick out very, very quick. Nothing has come of it. And Mayo now go straight down the other end. Ryan O'Donoghue with an angled ball, but that will drift high and wide and will go out there for a kick out for Stephen Cluxton. Kevin McStay watching on. Desi Farrell watching on. Only 1 point from play so far. That was Tommy Conroy. So, cagey enough so far. But here comes Kilkenny. Dublin just need to be better in these areas, working the ball. But here comes Costello. And that's a lovely point there from Costello. Very, very well taken. And brilliant score there from Cormac Costello. He takes it very, very well. 3-3. And all points so far from Costello. 2 from O'Donoghue, 1 from Conroy for Mayo. So, yeah, it's very even so far. 3 points apiece. Here come Mayo now with the kick out. Dublin pressing up as expected. Colm Reap spots a free man there. Owen McLaughlin. So, yeah, that press didn't really work there from a Dublin perspective. So far even anyway, not really, it's a fairly even game. Nobody really dominating the early exchange. Like Mayo have probably done a little bit better so far, but it is fairly even. As a Dublin fan, I'm certainly not concerned or anything like that watching these opening 15 minutes. It is nervy though watching it. First championship game I haven't been to in a while, so it is a little bit unusual. But here comes Tommy Conroy. Again, he's getting joy there when he's running. Mayo are getting joy being direct. Don't call a foul, ref. Don't bottle it. But Mayo still have it. And Dublin do turn it over. Great bit of play there. Brian Howard. That was good defending from Dublin. They were finally getting them challenges in. I think so far, when Mayo have ran at Dublin, they've been able to get frees. Dublin haven't been smart enough on those challenges, but that was very good there from Brian Howard to get the interception. And now Dublin can go down the other end. Owen Merchant on the ball into Costello, who seems to be dropping very, very deep. James Joyce says Hon Mayo. This is our year. I certainly hope it's not, but look, who knows? But here's Paddy Small, and that's a great point there for Dublin. 4 points to 3. Dublin lead for the first time in the game. But look, I think Mayo will definitely still be in the equation later in the year. There's no doubt about that. I think Mayo, if they don't win today, I still think they'll be in those quarterfinals. Although, like, you're looking at the preliminary rounds and there's some big teams like dropping in there. You've got Galway in there, Derry. It's going to be tough. Like, there's going to be some big teams knocked out next weekend. But yeah, 4-3 to Dublin. I think Mayo have definitely had the majority of the possession. They've definitely done more. They've definitely been more. They've had more of the ball. They've carried more of a threat. But Dublin have just been very clinical going down the other end. They've taken their chances very, very quickly. And the impetus does seem to be on Mayo to attack Dublin. Dublin are sitting in very well defensively. Owen McLaughlin there getting forward. Scuffs the ball a little bit, so Dublin will come away with it. I would like Dublin to move the ball just a bit quicker in these scenarios, like when they're in sort of their half-back line. If they could just move it quicker, attack quicker with a bit more pace, I think Mayo could be there for the taking on the counter-attack or whatever, but not quite happening so far. Cluxton going out wide to Fitzsimons. Dublin 4-3 to the good so far, so look, we can't complain with how this game is going so far. Garrett says, how bad were Armagh? Still ground out result credit where it's due. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, like it was, I don't know how Galway threw the game away, to be honest with you. Like, to be 5 points up with 15 minutes to go and then concede 1-3 without reply. But look, you have to credit Armagh, definitely. They showed a lot of bottle, a lot of fight to get the draw. And huge as well, like going into the quarters, avoiding obviously the winner of this game, avoiding Donegal, avoiding Kerry as well. So look, it is huge. But here comes Mayo, maybe a chance here for a goal. Pops it over the bar in the end. Stephen Cohen, I think, gets into. There's a lot of space there. Jesus, you know what? He could have played it off there to. He had 2 men. He'd a man either side of him. Mayo could have got a goal there. Dublin were very cut open, very defensively exposed there. That was a little bit worrying. A2 says Kildare being Kildare. Yeah, look, I mean, you thought with them going into the Tailteann they'd get the rack together, but it wasn't the case. And I did watch the majority of that game earlier, and yeah, it was kind of bizarre and kind of crazy to watch it all unfold. Like, Kildare actually played better when they'd 14 men because they had a black card in the first half, conceded a goal, but they still they actually played very well with 14 men. They managed to get themselves back in front, and when they went back to 15 men, they actually got worse. It's just a little bit bizarre watching them at the best of times. And even towards the end of the game, Laois probably could have won by more. They really could have. They had some big goal chances to win the game by even more. And like, Kildare just consistently lobbing the ball in the square, no players even in there. Yeah, it was bizarre, but I'm sure obviously it'll be discussed maybe tomorrow at some stage in more detail. And yeah, like hearing Glenn Ryan's already left. So yeah, massive question marks there from Mayo perspective. This is great football here from Dublin. They got a point from Con with a free, and now they've popped one over from Noel Scully. Great bit of football. Scully completely free, pops it over the bar. 2-point advantage now for Dublin. That's the biggest advantage we've seen in the game so far. Mayo do have a man down here. Not too sure what's happened to McLaughlin. Maybe a bit of cramp. But 2-point advantage for Dublin so far, so can't complain. Can't complain. We shall take it. Dublin is great. Says Dublin are leaving too much space around Mayo players. Yeah, just a little bit, a few times in defence. You know, a few times Mayo have ran at Dublin and have got a bit of joy. But so far, anyway, we've managed to get away with it. But here come the Mayo team again. Here's Ryan O'Donoghue. He's done well so far. Has a man outside. Gets the ball back. He's going to try and peel away and get the shot away, but it's curled well and truly wide there. Maybe the wrong decision there from Ryan O'Donoghue. He is getting a lot of balls so far, though. He is, you know, he has had a lot of possession. He has had chances, and he is the danger man in that Mayo team. He tends to always have very good games against Dublin as well. Here comes Fenton coming out with it. It could be huge now if Dublin could build up a 3-point lead. Scully going long, but there's no one really there. Picked up well by McBride. Tommy Conroy dropping deep. Very active in the game so far. Conroy been very involved. Conroy back inside. This is a good play from Mayo. Fenton. Merchant back to Paddy Small. Good defending from Dublin as they come out with it. And yeah, it's been a while now since Mayo scored. Probably, it must be 6 or 7 minutes now since they scored. It's been a while. Dublin going direct. That's a great ball there into Costello, who's been very good in this game. Completely turns his man inside and out. And now Con just a little bit slow with the acceleration, but he does pop it over the bar. It's a love. Oh no, he's put it wide. He's put it wide. Wow. How's he missed that? That was a great opportunity for Dublin there to extend the lead. But yeah, quite incredibly, Con puts it wide. Brilliant bit of play initially, though, by Costello. Completely rinsed his man. Turned him inside and out. But yeah, surprising miss there from a Mayo perspective, or from a Dublin perspective. And here we go now, Mayo on the attack. Matthew Rowan. Acer says here, RT News are 1 minute ahead than RT1. There we go. Yeah, I'm actually watching it on the RT player, so could be maybe a few seconds behind or something like that. Potentially, but hopefully it's not too bad. Mayo on the ball anyway, just keeping possession here, trying to take the sting out of it so far. Dublin, 2 points to the good. Can't believe Con missed that chance. Really should be 3 to the good, but sure, look, well, these things happen. Dublin are very, very well set up here. Aidan O'Shea goes inside. That's a good ball into Ryan O'Donoghue. And all of a sudden here, Mayo have a bit of space. Where will O'Donoghue go? Great challenge, though, from, I think, John Small. Actually, Brian Fenton, I think. What a challenge there from Brian Fenton. Absolutely colossal stuff there from Brian Fenton. Late challenge. Ryan O'Donoghue hits the deck. He doesn't know what hit him. He got hit by a 6-foot monster. That is extraordinary stuff there from Brian Fenton. And there's no doubt about it. Clean as a whistle. Gets the ball. Huge moment there in the game because O'Donoghue was shaping up for the goal. He was getting ready. And unbelievable stuff there from Fenton. Absolutely brilliant stuff there. Here's Colin Basquel now. He's got Rory bricking Brickenden alongside him. He's taking him inside and out. Goes back to Scully. And it's nothing really doing there. Acer says Kerry 118, Loud 18. Yeah, like all of a sudden, maybe Monaghan might feel they might have a chance of getting that second position if that carries on. Like, I think there is a big enough gap in score difference, but yeah, like that would be huge for Kerry. Like, I'm just gonna have a look at it here again. Here come Mayo though, coming down the other end. And I think the ref seen a free, did he? Or was it? Yeah, free for Mayo. Aidan O'Shea there looked to have got a push. Monaghan well clear of Mead. Yeah, I was just looking at it there. What, 15 to 1-6? Jeez, it's not a great day, is it, for Kildare and Mead fans? Yeah, and no real surprise with Mead, though, to be honest with you. I kind of expected this, to be honest. I didn't expect Kildare to lose today, though. Yeah, just looking at it here on the live tables, like, so Loud, they do still have a little bit of a gap there, but Monaghan are closing in with the score difference, so like it could be possible here for Monaghan. They could maybe grab that second position, and that would be quite detrimental to Loud. And it's, you know, like it would. I think we all want to see that Loud versus Derry game as well. So hopefully Loud can get themselves back into it. Huge for Monaghan though. All of a sudden, like, you know, a first win and Jesus months, like, and all of a sudden they'll feel like they have a good chance of getting to a quarter final if things transpire. 16 to 1-9. So yeah, like it's not a huge gap, but it's good enough as it stands anyway. Yeah, 1-6 to 15. Kerry 118. 1-8 to Loud, obviously, as well. Dublin, a point up. O'Donoghue slotted that point there. Dublin just getting a little bit sluggish here. You know, they've had a couple of chances here to get that 7th point and can't seem to work it correctly. I think Desi Farrell just telling the lads to calm down. (6-5). Been a while since Dublin scored. Just gonna have a look here again. Yeah, 19th minute since Dublin scored, so like 8 minutes here nearly without a score, which is crazy. Acer says Cork versus Dublin 2 p.m. Sunday. Yeah, looking forward to it. I'll actually be in Miami next week, going away on a holiday, so have to try watch it over there. We'll try figure that out. How we do it, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. But look, Dublin aren't winning that game, let's be honest. But look, fair play to Offaly. They gave a good go of it yesterday. Here come Mayo now. Good bit of interception there from Sean Bugler. Kicks it back to Stephen Cluxton. Dublin need a point here. We need to go down the other end and get a score because 10 minutes now without a point. Basquel. Oh, that's a loose ball. It's a poor ball. It's intercepted by Aidan O'Shea very well. And Mayo have the ball again. Dublin just getting a little bit sloppy, a little bit poor. You know, when we went 6-4 up, I felt like we were in control. Now all of a sudden Mayo are just getting more and more back into the game. It definitely is more Mayo's game in terms of possession. But we'll see what happens. A2 says don't waste your time. Sure, look, we'll be in a pub somewhere, having a few points, so I'll be enjoying myself either way. Don't worry about that. But we'll see what happens anyway. We won't we won't go out on a limb anyway. Obviously there'll be a bit of a time difference, so we'll see what happens. But another free here for Mayo. Jeez, the ref he's given so many frees here. Aidan O'Shea. Yeah, like, I don't know, like I feel like some of these frees are a little bit soft, but well, here we go. Anyway, it's another fairly handy one for Ryan O'Donoghue. You'd expect them to slot it over. Like, what's this going to be? His fourth free of the game. You'd imagine him to pop it over. Oh, no, he doesn't. He hits it short. Wow. Okay. That's the second one he's missed. That was fairly routine. I mean, the first one he missed was outside the D. Maybe, first kick of the game, you could understand it. But that one, to drop that one short, very unusual there from Ryan O'Donoghue. And Dublin completely let off the hook. Great ball into Con. Just dilly-dallies a little bit on the ball, and Mayo get the interception. Dublin being sluggish here. There's no doubt about that. And Mayo have it again. 5-6 as it stands so far in favour of Dublin. But here's Tommy Conroy shaping up with Sean McMahon. Back to O'Donoghue. Feel like Dublin do need to try and get a grip of this game if they can. Owen McLaughlin goes back out. Mayo trying their best to working inside here. Dublin are well set up defensively, though, in fairness. And that's another great block there. Another great challenge. Con Basquel. Like, look at that. That's your corner forward doing the defensive work. Like, defensively, we've actually done very well. Like, we've done very well to stop. And Noel Scully says Noel Scully's touched the ball on the ground here. Yeah, I mean, you could argue he's probably fouled in the build up there, but sure, look, we won't complain. Monaghan goal, only 3 points difference now between them and Louth. And Acer says Kerry 120, Louth 19. So yeah, they're closing in. They are closing in. There's no doubt about that, Monaghan. Yeah, like it's just looking at it here, like on the GA league tables, they have a little live score scenario. So Louth are currently +1, Monaghan are -2. So yeah, only 3 in the difference. Only 3 in the difference, and geez, Louth will be kicking themselves if they don't get the home prelim, because to be in that position, they won't be too happy with Meath either with the way things are going there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, there probably isn't too much to go in them games, I'd imagine. Probably like 20 minutes maybe or something. 10 minutes to go by the looks of it, maybe, in those games. So here come Dublin. It's been a long time since we scored. Like, we haven't scored since the 18th minute. And again, Mick Fitzsimons gets overran. Dublin are a little bit all over the place here. Aidan O'Shea. And there's an effort from Jordan Flynn, but he drops it short. You feel like Mayo are getting chances here. They're getting opportunities. They're not taking them. Dublin go long again. Decide not to hang on to the ball. They go long while Mayo don't have a man. Dublin have the ball here now. Plays it into Basquel. Dublin need to work it. They need to take the point here from Costello, and they do take it. It's a lovely, lovely point there from Costello. 7-6. Dublin end the drought and go back in front, and that's lovely stuff there from Costello. Dublin back in front, a point to the good. And yeah, I suppose it was risky. We went long, like John Small went completely long with that kick. It could have ended up anywhere, but in the end, it found its way to Costello, who popped it over the bar. Here comes the kick out. That's very, very well run. Well won by Mayo there. And Dublin are a little bit potentially exposed here. This might maybe be a chance. I think Jack Carney's had a very good game here so far for Mayo, but that's brilliant defending again from Dublin. Wonderful work from Owen Merchant and Brian Howard, and Dublin are just winning those defensive duels. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Like, look at that, Merchant and Howard double teaming them. Great stuff there from Dublin. Can they get a 2-point lead? Can they reinvigorate that 2-point lead between now and the end of the half? That'll be very interesting to see. And here we go. Plays in. Nope. There's a poor ball inside there. A2 says, should we just dissolve Leinster at this point? What's the point of Kildare and Meath? Absolute time wasters. Yeah, look, it's. I think Kildare and Meath have a lot of work to do, do you know what I mean? And they've always kind of pointed the finger and blamed other people and everything else. And, you know, it's everyone else's fault but their own. But I think on a day like today, you know, like, look, Meath were in Kildare's scenario last year. At least they went and won the Tailteann Cup. But even at that, like, it hasn't meant anything. Do you know what I mean? They haven't progressed. They haven't kicked on. Do you know? And Glenn Ryan, I think, has left as Kildare manager. I think Colm O'Rourke probably leaves as Meath manager. But look, to be fair, you have to credit Laois. You're obviously a Leinster side, and, you know, Division 4 at the start of the year. You know, Justin McNulty, the new manager, obviously coming in. And look, they play Antrim in the Tailteann Cup semi-final. So I'd nearly fancy Laois to get to a final at this stage. I think it's possible. But there we go. Half-time, Mayo 6, Dublin 7. Yeah, not a great first half overall. First half, you would say, really not a great game. Kind of cagey. Mayo have had a couple of moments. Dublin defensively, I think, have been outstanding. There's some brilliant moments there from Dublin defensively. Brian Fenton, I mean, that challenge on Ryan O'Donoghue, like, that was absolutely colossal stuff there. From a Dublin perspective, Aidan O'Shea has been a presence for Mayo. Jack Carney's obviously had a couple of moments as well. It's been a real physical battle. You know, usually with Dublin and Mayo, you think of the flair players, you think of the technical brilliance, but I think this has been more of a physical game. It's been more about challenges. It's been more about blocks and everything else. Costello has been outstanding, though, for Dublin. He's been very, very good. By far, Dublin's best player. Don't think we've really had our other forwards in the game, but we will see what happens. Just run through the scores overall then. Ryan O'Donoghue, 3 points from him. Aidan O'Shea and Tommy Conroy and Stephen Cohen have all got the points there for Mayo. For Dublin, Costello with 4 points. Con, Paddy Small and Noel Scully all getting on the score sheet there. So, yeah, maybe a few of the other forwards have been in it, but just haven't really seen too much of them so far. But overall, happy enough from a Dublin perspective. At halftime, I don't think we saw the best Dublin. I will certainly go, you know, I will certainly mention that, but yeah, I don't think Mayo have really, like, they've had a few chances to really get in behind this, but they've probably missed a few. Ryan O'Donoghue missing 2 fairly straightforward frees from his standard. You know, you would expect him to pop them over the bar, so a little bit unusual there from a Mayo perspective. But overall, Dublin just shading it. Definitely some causes for concern. Like, we went, nearly 15, 20 minutes without scoring, which was a little bit unusual from a Dublin perspective. You know, you would have expected us to score in those moments. A few chances dropping wide. Con missed a relatively straightforward chance that you'd usually see him score. So a little bit disappointing there. But yeah, overall, a point up, and sure, look, we can't complain. Anyone who is tuning in, if you could hit the like button, that'd be absolutely brilliant, and subscribe if you haven't already. That would be absolutely brilliant. And the score is 6-7, so 7-6 to Dublin. A point in front for Dublin as it stands at halftime. So yeah, look, we won't complain. Happy days. Should be going straight into the quarterfinals, which is great. Looking forward to the quarterfinals, and look, obviously, with the fact of the Dublin, you know, Loud situation, or the you know, Kerry obviously winning the group. Just looking at it there, Kerry 122, Loud 110, Meath 17, Monaghan 116. So as it stands, Monaghan are in there, but Meath have got a couple of points. I think it's just updated. So Louth are back in there now again. So Jesus, like Louth will be kicking themselves if they don't get that second place. They will be absolutely kicking themselves. But yeah, just looking at it live on at GA League tables. Maybe a reminder of the groups, obviously, so far, for those of you who don't know. So Armagh won earlier. They beat, well, they didn't win, actually. They drew, I should say that. But they did win the group. So 112 to 15 points was the score there. So Armagh straight into the quarterfinals. Galway into the preliminary quarterfinals. They'll obviously have a home draw. Derry are in those prelims as well. They obviously beat Westmeath last night 2-7 to 9 points. So they'll go straight in to the preliminary, well, not straight in, but into the preliminary rounds. And they will obviously be the runners up, or the away team, I should say. So it's going to be tough for Derry still. Roscommon obviously won yesterday against Cavan 320 to 120. Sounds like a crazy game, that. But yeah, Roscommon are into the preliminary rounds in a similar fashion, obviously, to Derry. Donegal beat Clare yesterday 223 to 5 points. And Tyrone beat Cork 118 to 17. So Donegal into the quarterfinals, Tyrone into the prelims at home, Cork into the prelims away. So that's how things stand at the moment. Tom says pressure on. Yeah, look, the pressure is on, my man. The pressure is on. 1 point ahead as it stands, and certainly, yeah, like I don't know. I'd be curious to know what you think as a Mayo fan. Like, if Mayo played their best stuff so far. I don't necessarily think they have. I don't think Dublin have obviously played their best stuff either. So, but there we are. Yeah, 7-6 as it stands there. Meath look to be closing in a little bit there on Monaghan by the looks of things. So the Louth fans will be, for the first time in their life, they'll be like, come on, Meath. For fuck's sake, he's always won after 2010. It looks like Kerry are just pulling away against Louth, though. So, yeah, it's not so good there. But yeah, 7-6 at half time. Hopefully, we don't have an Armagh Galway situation where, 20 minutes at half time and all this crack. I mean, that was ludicrous earlier, wasn't it? A2 says alarm bells ringing for the GA. Surely they can't even sell out Dublin and Mayo in the Hyde. Yeah, like, it's, to be fair, like, looks mostly packed, but there does look like maybe there's a few empty spaces. I think it's a group stage scenario, really. Like, I think, look, it's one of them scenarios where, Dublin lose this game, we're into the prelims. It's not the end of the world. Mayo lose into the prelims, not the end of the world. Like, you're going to see your county again anyway. I think the big thing about knockout football is, you go to Croke Park, or where, even in the qualifiers, the old format, you're going into a game thinking, this, I have to go. I might not see my county again after this weekend, whereas now, like, like, these two are still in it after this weekend. So it does defeat the purpose, I think, ever so slightly. But there we are. Just looking at their Louth, I think are still ahead as it stands in the preliminary battle. But it will be interesting to see how obviously it finishes out. 7-6 for Dublin so far. Cormac Costello, very good, I think, from a Dublin perspective. But look, Mayo are still there. You can never discount the men from Mayo. Just looking at it there, I think Kerry have got another goal. 221 now to 110. It's a hammering. Meath are closing in on Monaghan, though, so maybe there might still be a bit of hope for... just looking at it there, Louth. Just hanging on. They're hanging on, Louth. They're hanging on to that second position. They might just do it, but Jesus, yeah. I think Gerard Brennan won't be too happy about that result. Just looking at here on RTE, just some of the missed chances for Mayo. Like, they've been very direct. They've ran at Dublin, but to be fair to Dublin, they've held up and been absolutely brilliant. I think it's just that transition, like moving the ball from defence to midfield to attack. I think we've just we have just struggled a little bit with that. Like, we have been a little bit slow moving the ball, being quick with it. So that's definitely something I think that we do need to work on. But I think if we get that right, I think we've more than a chance in the second half. But yeah, just looking at some of Cluxton's kickouts as well. Like, we've had some big chances. We've had some big opportunities to even extend the lead out even further. So some disappointment there. I think man of the match so far for the first half, I probably would have to look at Cormac Costello. I think he probably has been Dublin's best player, arguably the best player in the pitch so far. I think he's been outstanding. He's got a lot of good defensive blocks in as well, challenges and whatnot. So, yeah, I think Costello's been absolutely brilliant from a Dublin perspective. And I think for Mayo, I think Jack Carney's had a very good game. Ryan O'Donoghue's obviously been very involved. Like, he does carry a massive threat, in fairness. Ryan O'Donoghue, he is a very physical player, physical presence. Very hard player, obviously, to dispossess and everything else. But yeah, look, we're just waiting for the second half here now, obviously, to throw in. Hopefully should get it to start in a couple of minutes. But yeah, look, probably in a similar fashion to Armagh Galway, you'd expect the game to open up a bit more later on. You would expect Armagh and you know, or you would expect this game to open up a bit like Armagh Galway earlier today, obviously. So so there we go. Just looking at it there, I think the Loud game is I think the Loud game is finished there. And I think they have done it just about, though, in the end. Mead are closing in there. Like, they're closing in a little bit on Monaghan. Imagine Mead pulled it off and won the game. Jesus, that would be crazy. Full time, yeah. Monaghan 117. Mead 114. Kerry 221. Loud 110. So in the end, Loud do finish in the second position. So they get the home prelim. But just about. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, Loud finished with 3 points. Home prelim. Cork finished with 4 in their group. But obviously don't get they get an away prelim. So I suppose that's the nature of the groups, in fairness. But look, Loud will be happy in the end to get that preliminary round position. And to be fair to me, they closed in a little bit on Monaghan. They obviously made a bit more of a game of it towards the end. But look, in the end, I suppose the damage probably was done. And Loud probably have Mead to thank, to be honest with you. Because look, Loud weren't closing the gap. It was Mead that were closing the gap on Monaghan. So yeah, look, I think Loud can thank the Mead lads, their neighbours, for once in their life. But there we are. But yeah, just waiting for the second half now anyway. 7-6 to Dublin. Loud are through to the prelims as the home team. So look, Loud Derry, I'm just saying, I think we want it to happen. And to be fair, after Loud's performance, like, Jesus, like, we were expecting them to get beat by Kerry, but to get beat by 14, you know, like, it's a bit of an absolute hiding there. So they probably do have massive work to do, must be said, before that game. But yeah, an absolute hiding there from a Loud perspective. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, your predictions going into the second half. Yeah, I do fancy Dublin still to kick on and win. I do fancy us still to grind Mayo out, to win by 2 or 3 in the end. But look, Mayo are causing problems. They're being very direct. They're running at the heart of that Dublin defence. But in fairness, Dublin have held up absolutely brilliant defensively. I think they've been absolutely outstanding in regards to that. And the question really is, can they keep that going and can they attack? Like, I would like to see Dublin just move the ball a bit quicker when we get it back. Like, when we're moving from defence to midfield, just be a bit quicker with the ball, move it faster. And then I think we can create more opportunities. We can get the ball into Costello, get the ball into Kilkenny, Paddy Small, these lads, and I think we can do damage. We certainly can. So yeah, second half should be about to go in a few minutes here. We're just getting back. Teams are getting back on the field and everything else. So couldn't imagine there be any changes at halftime from either team. I would imagine both teams will stay as is. Obviously, fairly even game. Do think Dublin need to get a handle on Jack Carney. I think that's something they do need to very much work on. But I do think overall fairly happy, like decent enough stuff from a Mayo or from a Dublin perspective. But we'll see how things transport in the second half. Just going through the scores again. Cormac Costello with 4, Con, Paddy Small, Noel Scully all on the score sheet there for Dublin and for Mayo. Ryan O'Donoghue with 3, Aidan O'Shea, Tommy Conroy, and Stephen Cohen all getting on the score sheet as well for Mayo. So look, for Mayo, they'll be happy. Look, they are causing damage, they are causing problems. So they'll be happy enough in the end with how it's gone. So yeah, obviously Group 4 has finished up. Kerry straight through to the quarterfinals as expected. Plus 39 score difference, by the way. Like, they absolutely hammered everyone, really, didn't they? Very, very comfortable. Like, and they're coming in so untested, so under the cosh, like under the cuff. Loud, obviously, do finish in second. Monaghan finish in third. So Monaghan's season is still alive. But yeah, not so good there. From a Meath perspective, obviously 3 defeats. Like, to be happy they closed the game out, like got back into the game a little bit towards the end, but overall very, very comfortable there for a Monaghan perspective. And yeah, I think worrying signs, worrying times from a Meath perspective. Is that Colm O'Rourke gone? Is that him done and dusted? It's very, very hard to know. But yeah, just waiting for the second half to get going. Just seeing here on Kildare GA's Twitter account, Kildare GA can confirm that Glenn Ryan has stepped down as Kildare senior football manager following today's defeat to Laois in the Tailteann Cup. So there we are. Glenn Ryan is gone. New changes coming to Kildare. And yeah, who's going to be the next Kildare manager? That's going to be an interesting one. Could it be Davy Burke? Could Davy Burke leave? I mean, that could be an interesting one if Davy Burke was to leave Roscommon. I suppose a lot will depend on how Roscommon get on in that preliminary round. I do think Davy Burke probably still has another year at Roscommon, in fairness. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they get. Like, to be honest, if I was the Kildare County Board, like, look outside the county. Look for someone different. Think a little bit outside the box. Do you know what I mean? Maybe if Mickey gets let go from Derry, get him into Kildare. That'd be a story. Like, I think they should be looking outside the box. Like, they should be thinking, outside man and everything else. Dublin is great, says Davy Burke could be Kildare manager. He certainly could be. Look, if he leaves Roscommon, and a lot will depend, on the preliminary round, like how that game will go. If they get an absolute hammering, if they get a hiding, we'll see, because obviously Roscommon have failed in the last 2 seasons at that stage. So I don't think they'll be quick to get rid of him, but look, we'll see obviously what happens, to be fair. And would Davy Burke even want to go to Kildare in the state that they're in? Do you know what I mean? It's probably a difficult job. Probably going to be a whole host of players that are going to leave and everything else. So, you know, like, there is massive, massive work that still needs to be done. Right, both teams are out on the field. Second half just about to start here. Massive second half for both of these two. Of course, let's not forget, winner will go straight through to the quarterfinals. Loser will go into the preliminary rounds. There has been a change from a Dublin perspective. Killian McGuinness has come on. Tom Lahiff, I think, has gone off. So that's going to be interesting to see how that transpires. Desi Farrell coming back on as well there. Racing back on. And here we are then. Second half is underway. Dublin with possession early on. Obviously, there hasn't been more than a 2-point lead in this game, so it has been very cagey. It has been very nervy. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Here comes Con O'Callaghan driving at Mayo. Mayo very, very well set up, it must be said. Here's Sean Bugler. Back out to Kieran Kilkenny. Good play for Dublin, just being patient. Owen Merchant pops it back to Brian Howard. Good overlapping run there from John Small. And John Small, I think it's stayed in, I think. Looked like it went wide, but it's been kept in by Paddy Small. He goes back to Con. That's a lovely leap. And then Con kind of just hits it into no one really there in the end. And Mayo are able to come out with it. But they lose the ball. And Dublin do have it back. And there might be a chance. It's a point in the end. It's taken from Sean Bugler. Looked for a moment there that there could have been a goal opportunity. Mayo getting completely caught. They won the ball back. They'd done the hard part. Con had lost it. And then Dublin nicked it back, and Sean Bugler put it over the bar. Here comes Jordan Flynn. Mayo on the charge here now with Matthew Ruan. Dublin set up well. This is good football from Mayo. There's a bit of a gap there. They could have went for the point. They chose not to. Ball play back. And Jordan Flynn has a bit of time. Makes no mistake. Good point there from Jordan Flynn. Mayo back to within a point. It's been really, has been really even Stevens. Of course, let's not forget when Dublin and Mayo played each other last season. It was a little bit weird there. The camera and RTE just panned to Lee Keegan from behind, as he's obviously in the panels, a little bit unusual there, but there we are. Oh, that's poor from Dublin. Aidan O'Shea wins it back. Mayo maybe might have a chance. Definitely the tempo was up there at the start of the second half. Jack Carney goes into O'Donoghue. It's a bit of space here for O'Donoghue, but he pulls it wide. It's another poor miss there from Ryan O'Donoghue. I think that's his third chance he's missed. He obviously missed the free, dropped one short, and now he's put one wide. So Kevin McStay and Mayo will be a little bit disappointed with these missed chances. Cluxton goes long. Dublin win it very, very well there. Well taken from Brian Howard. Then finds Mick Fitzsimons. Dublin being a little bit more direct now in the second half, driving at Mayo. Of course, let's not forget, last year, in the second half was when Dublin really pulled away from Mayo. Here's Pascal. Did he overcarry? I think the ref is actually calling a foul, which is interesting. Pascal driving through the heart of the defense. Yeah, like, look, it's soft, but the ref has been calling them all game. He's been giving them for Mayo. He's been giving them for Dublin. It's a soft free, I won't lie. That is a very soft free in favour of Dublin. But look, Cormac Costello will stand over it. And he re-anoints Dublin's 2-point lead. I think that's point number 5 for Cormac Costello. So he's been outstanding so far from a Dublin perspective. The question is now, like, I feel like for Dublin, if we can press home this advantage now, if we can make it 3 or 4, that just gives us a bit of cushion. It gives us something to work on. Kick out doesn't really work, and Brian Howard goes back to McGuinness. McGuinness plays it back inside to Bugler. It's a good ball into Pascal. There's a bit of space here for Dublin. Con turns his man very, very well. Good play from Dublin. Bit of space here for Pascal. Lovely stuff there from Pascal. Brilliant stuff from a Dublin perspective. Con Pascal. He was the man. He was the legend last season. And he's done it. Well, he hasn't got a goal, but he has got a point. And that's the most important thing there. Mayo and missing chances. Like cider and ice on a warm day go great together. They probably do. Yeah, like it is Mayo in a nutshell, missing big opportunities. Here's Conroy. Yeah, he's got that. Oh, Jesus, that looked wide there, but must have been the camera angle. It's a good point from Conroy, in fairness. 10-8. Yeah, obviously just the camera angle. Ref is a complete plonker. He's ruined this game. Yeah, just too many soft frees. Let the game go. Let the game flow. Doesn't seem to be really doing that, which is disappointing. Back to a 2-point game anyway. It was a great response actually from Mayo and Tommy Conroy, in fairness, because if they had missed that, like, you know, the pressure and everything that goes with it. But that's a good turnover there from Mayo. Dublin look a little bit exposed here. Played into Aidan O'Shea. There is a gap here, and there is a chance for Mayo maybe of a goal. They're going to take the point, though, and they'll get the point as well. It's well taken from Matthew Rowan. It's back to a 1-point game. It's a good response for Mayo. Like Dublin, first time in the game that a 3-point lead had opened up and happened in the game. But that was, very, very impressive from Mayo there, in fairness. It's a 1-point game with about 25 minutes to go. Dublin starting the second half very, very well, but look, in fairness to Mayo, they've come back into it. The game is definitely a lot more lively now. It's a lot more end-to-end. Both teams are really going for it now. Here's Paddy Small. Back to Kilkenny. Into Costello. Now to Scully. Chance of a point there. Didn't take it. Costello trying to turn, slipping. Do seem like a lot of players are losing their footwear and everything else in this game. Here's Mayo on the ball again. It was a good turnover. Can Mayo now score 3 on the bounce themselves to level the game? It's good football. Jordan Flynn, bit of space. Could have went for the point. Opted not to. Goes back into Jack Carney. Aidan O'Shea turns Con very, very well. Is he going to get a point? Aidan O'Shea just gets away from him, but he still has it. Turns his man. And then pops it wide in the end. It's kind of vintage Aidan O'Shea, isn't it? Does everything so well. The build-up is brilliant, but then the finish is going to beg. And that's just, I feel like the Dublin fans would have enjoyed that one now. Mayo for Sam. Yeah, look, who knows? Who knows? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But who knows? Look, it could be Dublin Mayo in a final again. We'll see what happens. But here goes Paddy Small. That's a poor ball. That's really, really woeful stuff there. Not really good. Not really good now. And Paddy Small is doing that crack. It's a great turnover, is it? No. Foul, apparently. I just feel like Dublin have settled back into the old habits that they were doing in the first half. Like in the second half, we start very, very strong. But here come Mayo again. Chance opens up. That's going to be a point, and it is a very, very well taken point there from the substitute, Conor Loftus. 10-10 now to score. We are level. Very, very well taken point from Conor Loftus. And Dublin are up against it here. Dublin are up against it. 10-10 the score. I think just a few bad decisions in the last kind of couple of minutes for Dublin. Here comes Cluxton. We don't see him do this too often. Being that sweeper keeper. Great ball. Great burst of acceleration there from Sean McMahon. Could have went for it himself. Opted not to. Mick Fitzsimons. Kieran Kilkenny. McGuinness. Kilkenny. Is there going to be a chance here maybe at a point? It's Con. Surely a foul there. No. This time he doesn't give a foul. Dublin do still have the ball. Costello back into Kilkenny. Surely going to put it over. And he has. Good stuff there from Kilkenny. 11-10. Looked like maybe there was a foul in the build-up there that the ref didn't call. But sure, look, we'll take the point. Lovely stuff there from Kieran Kilkenny. Vintage Kilkenny, it must be said. Dublin gotten very ragged, says A2. Yeah, they've just become a little bit sloppy. It's definitely not Dublin at full tilt. There's no doubt about that. Definitely not at their best today. But look, I think the most important thing is just to get a result, whether that be a draw or a win. Because a draw is obviously enough. I think it would be, like, I don't think it would be that big of a deal if we lost, because obviously we go into the home prelims, but it's just another game. Obviously that game will be in Croke Park, but it's just not, it's not ideal really. You want to go into the quarterfinals, and Tommy Conroy loses the ball and the ref has called another free here. Owen Merchant with a pullback. Yeah, I suppose, look, he does have the tug of the shirt. But I mean, you didn't call it down the other end, ref. But anyway, it probably is a foul, in fairness. Look, we won't complain. I don't know who stands over this. He's missed a few, but he should pop this one over. It's a very straightforward one. And he makes no mistake. 11-11. Even Stevens. Mayo fans will be happy with the response. You know, they went 3 down at one stage in the second half, and you were thinking this could be where Dublin pull away. But in fairness to them, they came roaring back. Cluxton, good kick out into Fitzsimons. Kind of just stood still. Did he call a kick out mark or something? A little bit unusual there. Mayo were claiming that Dublin had overcarried, but Dublin have just lost the ball again. Silly. Noel Scully with a pull on Aidan O'Shea. That wasn't particularly great. The ref could come back to that. Could be a black card, maybe. Dublin just very silly, like, especially with turnovers. We keep getting caught. Here's Conor Loftus. He's popped that wide. So stays at 11-11. Cluxton with the kick out. Just about gets it to Owen Merchant. I think Dublin just need to be a bit more patient on the ball. It feels like we're trying to rush things too much, and then we're just getting caught. And it is interesting. Like, we have Noel Scully there playing almost as a fullback. It's like everyone else is just bombing forward. Cluxton now. Almost in the Mayo 45-metre line. He's played it to Costello, has a bit of space. Back to Sean McMahon. Good ball to John Small. Mayo are very, very well set up here, but Dublin are going good in the attack. Here's Paddy Small. Back to Kilkenny. It's nervy stuff. Good football. Yeah, Dublin just keeping the ball here, taking the sting out of Mayo. Mayo, to be fair, are very, very well set up, though. Like, you can't argue with it here. Like, they're doing well here defensively. Dublin just need to, you know, we've had the ball here for long enough now. We need to work something here. Sean Bugler, he could have went for that. He opted not to. Paddy Small, Mick Fitzsimons, Fenton. Someone's got to have a go here. We work it back again. Now it's Merchant. Now it's Kilkenny. Has a bit of space. McGuinness again. Come on, Dublin, for fuck's sake. Like, work something here. I just don't want to take the chance. Costello as well. And Costello gets it. Lovely stuff there. Dublin had to be patient. That wasn't easy. That was not easy. They eventually got it to the right man. And it was Costello who's been head and shoulders Dublin's best player today. It's a lovely point. On his left boot as well. Pops it over. And here comes Jack McCaffrey coming off the bench. And Paul Mannion. Here we are now. Two big stars coming on. You know, Dublin do have some luxury when you're able to bring McCaffrey and Mannion on. Probably unlucky that Mannion didn't start, but Scully goes off. Paddy Small goes off. Where's McCaffrey going to play now? It's going to be interesting. Like, Scully obviously playing at half forward, centre half forward. So maybe Brian Howard will push further up. McCaffrey will go back. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. But Dublin a point up. Mannion's on. McCaffrey's on. 20 minutes to go. Mayo 11. Dublin 12. What way is it going to finish? What way is it going to go? That's going to be interesting. Of course, let's not forget, if it finishes as a draw, Dublin will win the group. They will go straight through to the quarterfinals. On the basis of score difference, a win for Dublin obviously does the job as well, but a win for Mayo puts them straight through. So there is a lot on the line. Maybe not the amount of jeopardy that that's been there in the past with these games, but there is still some jeopardy there. Here comes Comrie now bursting forward for Mayo. You just get the feeling now both teams are going to be patient on the ball. You know, they're going to wait for the chances, wait for the opportunities. That's going to be the main sort of premise of the day, the main focus of the day. O'Donoghue out to Rowan. Rowan gets it. It's a lovely score there by Matthew Rowan. Mayo back level. It's a fantastic point. 12-12 is the score. 12 each. And with 18 minutes to go. I mean, this is usually now where Dublin pull away. This is usually that final quarter is usually so important for Dublin. And that's, I think, where we're going to see what happens here. But here comes Owen Merchant. Back to McGuinness. Dublin working the ball well. The movement just needs to be a bit better, in my opinion. Kilkenny. Good football. Kilkenny. Does he pop it over? He doesn't. He puts it wide. It's a poor miss there from Kilkenny. 12 each. 17 to go. Look, we have already emptied the bench ever so slightly. Paul Mannion's come on. We've obviously saw Jack McCaffrey come on as well. Mayo. I can't remember the last time Mayo led in the game, though. It's definitely been a while. So, they Be huge now with this possession, like if they can get a point. But they are slowing the game down, keeping possession, all that stuff. As you'd expect, really, with, closing into the final sort of 15 minutes. Every possession counts, every small moment matters now in the game. And Jack Carney goes out to Ruan. There's a back inside. Carney again. Dublin are set up well here. Mayo aren't, I suppose, being as direct as they were. Oh, that's brilliant there from Dublin. Lovely bit of defending from Pascal, but Mayo still have it. They nearly turned them over. Here they come again, Mayo. It's Conroy. Bit of space there for Loftus. He doesn't take it. He turns two. And then lovely defending there. Brilliant stuff. Loftus is calling the free. For once, the referee didn't call it, but there we go. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant defending. Dublin now go down the other end. Owen Merchant into McCaffrey. First time he's had a bit of possession of the game. And he offloads it to his other substitute, Paul Mannion. McCaffrey carries on the run. Pops it over the bar. We could have got a goal there. Could have got a goal. Jacko comes on and he gets the point. Wonderful stuff there. Mannion and McCaffrey combining brilliantly. I just wonder, could McCaffrey have gone for a goal? Could he have done it? I don't know, but look, we'll take it. We'll take it. A point up. A point up with 15 to go. Cillian O'Connor's coming on, so look. Whatever Dublin are bringing off the bench, Mayo are bringing on as well. Darren McHale makes way. Cillian O'Connor, some man, some boyo to bring on with about 14 to go. Question is now, can Dublin keep up this very resolute, very brilliant defence? Ball's played into Aidan O'Shea. Does well, gets away from Fitzsimons. Goes back into Conroy. Dublin are set up well here. Trying to get the blocks in, diving men and everything here. It's frantic stuff, as it often is between Dublin and Mayo. But we wouldn't have it any other way. And there's an effort. And there is a point. It's a lovely one as well from Ryan O'Donoghue. 13 apiece. It's just tit for tat, really. Like, whatever Dublin do, Mayo do. Both teams responding brilliantly to each other's scores. And, 13 apiece. Now it's Kilkenny. Dublin trying to make it happen. Pascal. Lovely stuff from Pascal. Great stuff there. Brilliant. 14-13. Pascal gets his point. 14-13. Lovely stuff. 2 points there for Pascal. Dublin back in front again. I have to say, it's a great game, lads. Great game. First half was a little bit cagey, but second half has really kicked into gear. It's been end-to-end. 14-13, and we've still got 13 minutes left here. So there's still all to play for. Jack Carney goes in to Cillian O'Connor. Fitzsimons thought about committing, but he didn't. Aidan O'Shea back to O'Connor. Looked like O'Connor was going to have a go there for a minute. Back to O'Shea. Did he overcarry? He didn't. Surely Mayo are going to take the point. And they do. Lovely score from Tommy Conroy. 14 apiece. End to end. $14 apiece. Mayo making another substitution here by the looks of it. Stephen Cohen off. Jeremy O'Connor on. So it's not a bad man to bring on as well, in fairness. Big kick out this. Who's going to win it? Looks like no, Dublin have it. Do they? Bugler does get the ball. Then he offloads it to Fitzsimons. You've got Tessie Farrell right next to them there on the sideline. Fitzsimons back into Costello. Driving forward. Oh, it's a lovely ball to Owen Merchant. There's a chance here. It's Merchant. Oh, he's hit the bar and it's gone over. I thought nearly went wide there for a minute. Nearly a goal. Nearly a goal. He probably could have went to the man left of him. Look at Mannion. Oh, my goodness me. Mannion's right there. Dublin normally so brilliant in them scenarios. Merchant went for the glory. But Mayo have messed it up again here. But the ref has called something back, has he? What's happened here then? I'd love to see that again. A2 says Mayo just won't go away. They won't. They won't. I mean, how many times have we said that down the years? They never go away. You know, they're like a cockroach. Every time you try and squish it, they just find the way to come back into your life. Thankfully enough, they haven't beaten us too often, though. So we do have that, in fairness. They're probably, as much as we're sick of them, they're sick of us. But look, you do have to commend Mayo. Like, they haven't backed down here. They really have put it to Dublin. It's a good ball in. McCaffrey's just about got it. We win the free there. Maybe a little bit fortunate. But sure, look, we'll take it. 15-14. You feel like a 2-point gap could be huge. That pass, by the way, from Costello to Owen Merchant, like, that was, wow. Like, brilliant stuff. Like, Costello was having an absolutely outstanding game here. Fenton back into Fitzsimons. Pascal, it's opened up again for him. He does well. He does really well. Mannion thought about it. Just couldn't really get the space for the shot. Fitzsimons back to Kilkenny. As it stands, obviously Dublin a point to the good, which is good enough. Costello is having an absolute stormer. He is. He's been Dublin's best player today. And there's, yeah, it's over the bar from Mannion. Brilliant stuff. It looked like maybe it was going to go wide there. Mannion's point trickles in. Just curled at the final minute. The final second. Final minute. Final second. 16-14. 2-point gap now. It's a decent gap to have at this stage of the game. Just looking at the wide count on Ortiz graphic, 4 wides for Dublin, 6 for Mayo. So, like, shooting accuracy for both teams has been largely very, very good. Mayo have had a few that have, not gone their way. They've obviously dropped a few short. Both teams have created the same amount of scoring chances as well. So, but yeah, 8 minutes to go. It's going to be a frantic finish. And to be fair to Mayo, they went 3 points down at one stage in the second half and they responded immediately. What can they do here? Jeremy O'Connor, O'Donoghue. It's a brilliant point, in fairness, from O'Donoghue. Like, it's brilliant. I tell you what, like, some of the points and some of the football in this game has been absolutely brilliant. Like, it was maybe a bit cagey in the first half. Maybe it was a little bit, nervy or whatever. But this game has completely opened up now. Bob too, he's come on for Mayo. Matthew Rowan's going off. Maybe not entirely happy to be coming off. But he is going off. McGuinness, is he going off here as well? Looks like he is. Came on at half-time. Now he's off. McGarry's coming on. So that's an interesting one. I mean, Ross McGarry wouldn't be a midfielder, so be interested to see who they put in there. We've got 6 minutes to go, plus injury time. Dublin lead Mayo 16 points to 15. It's going to be a frantic finish, a nervy finish. Will it be the men in green and red? Or will it be the boys in blue? Here come Dublin now. They've played it back. Here is McGarry. He's completely ballooned that, but it will drop. Who will get to it? Mannion gets a flick. Oh, there's a chance here. Dublin fans are claiming that maybe there was a pull on McGarry, but ref didn't see anything, and I don't think there was anything in that, to be fair. McGarry running through. Yeah, there was nothing really in that, to be fair. So Mayo have the ball again, and now they'll have a chance to level the game up, make it 16 apiece. And you know what? With the way that they've played, with the way that they've taken their chances and taken their opportunities, you wouldn't bet against them here now. Truman O'Connor in possession of the ball. Dublin are set up well. Dublin have done well defensively, but Mayo have not been as direct. Not been as... They haven't drove a Dublin's defence as much because they didn't get as much joy in the first half doing that. But there's an effort from Jack Carney that flies well wide of the target. A rare wide in this second half. I feel like the shooting's been off the charts really in the second half. Dublin are in control. They are a point in front. Not long to go. The fans are nervous in the stands, as you would expect. Dublin just going to keep the ball here now. 4 minutes to go. Slow the game down. There's no rush. Dublin have the lead. Jack McCaffrey with that burst. That famous burst. He's got a couple of men around him, but he does well. Of course, let's not forget as well, a draw is better for Dublin because obviously with the score difference, we go straight through. So I suppose in some ways it nearly feels like a 2-point lead here. But look, obviously Dublin will be pushing to win the game. Howard back out to Bugler. Dublin calm in possession. Kilkenny, that's an interesting ball. Fenton does well. He's going to call it for overcarrying. Yeah. I don't know what Kilkenny was doing there. That was such a risky ball to be playing at this stage of the game. Fenton. I mean, to be fair, like he's being pulled back there. Like that probably should be a foul. It's a little bit of an unusual one. James McCarthy, he's come on. It was unusual not to see him come on earlier, to be honest, but he's come on. Sean Bugler has made way. Not a bad man to bring on with 3 minutes to go. Mayo going to make a change here as well by the looks of it. Or perhaps not. Or I think they are. Paul Towey's come on. Jack Carney's come off. So, yeah, 3 minutes to go. I can't imagine there'd be too much injury time, to be honest. Because, like there hasn't really been many stoppages. Like, probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. Or maybe just blow it up, ref. But no, I think he'll probably add 2 or 3. But here come Mayo now. Dublin just need to hold their nerve defensively. Tommy Conroy plays it back again. Paul Towey. Mayo working the ball well. It's Aidan O'Shea. This is good football from Mayo. Dublin set up well. There might be maybe a chance here to work it. Oh, that's a good ball. There might maybe be a chance of a goal. Oh, and Dublin They got a challenge in from McCaffrey. It is going to be a 45. Dublin nearly in trouble there. McCaffrey. Looks like it was... Doesn't look like it was a 45. I mean, it looks clear as day that McCaffrey hits the ball off of the Mayo player's knee, but... And I think the Dublin players are protesting that right now. It did not look a 45. But I think the referee is going to give this as a 45. Calm Reap, I think, the man standing over this. He's absolutely nailed it, in fairness. 16-16. It's going to be a nervy minute or two. Just looking at this again, I mean, for fuck's sake, lads, it's not a 45. Goodness me. Fucking hell, how did I not see that, like? So, balls bobbling all over the place. Mayo have it. Dublin are a little bit on the ropes here now. It's Aidan O'Shea. Oh, Dublin have turned it over. And now it's Kilkenny. And he goes into Ross McGarry. Dublin just hang on to the ball. Don't do anything too stupid. Nothing doing. Mayo have it back again. Dublin should have hung on to it there. We don't need to win this game. We don't need to win it. We just make sure we don't lose it. And all of a sudden now Dublin are on the ropes. Mayo are on the attack. They haven't led it all in the second half. They haven't led it all in the second half. Two minutes to go. Dublin are set up well. Mayo are just keeping it, trying to take the sting out of the game here. It's a nervy finish. It's a nervy finish. So not really doing anything with it here, Mayo. They've gone long. It's an interesting pass where they're trying to work a mark. I think they've got it as well, you know. Yeah, wow. Okay. So here we go then. This could be a huge chance for Mayo. Ryan O'Donoghue, the man standing over it. This could be huge. I mean, it's a fairly straightforward one, really. You'd expect them to score it. And he has. He's got it. 17-16. Mayo are in front. Mayo are in front. Oh, shit. Here we go then. Here we go. This wasn't part of the plan. Dublin have gone long. They need to win this, and they do. And it's a great ball into McCaffrey. Dublin need to make the right decision here. On it's back into McCaffrey. And it might be a chance at a goal. Oh, just put it over the bar. Yes, he's got it. Oh, fuck me. Jesus Christ. 17-17. Costello slipping and sliding all over the place. It's ended as a draw. Dublin are into the quarterfinals. Whew. Dublin are into the quarterfinals. Oh my goodness me. I think I need a minute. I think I need a minute to calm down. That was a crazy, crazy finish, as it always is with Mayo and Dublin. They're always chaotic games. They're always brilliant games. You know, whatever it is about these two, when they play each other, they produce some of the best football that we so very often see. And in the end, it finishes as a draw. And you know what? I think it is the fair result. You know, there wasn't a 45 at the end of that game. Let's be honest, that was a crazy decision. But look, in the end, the finishes as a draw. And in the end, I think it is a relatively fair result. I think both teams were very, very good. Shooting was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, look, it finishes 17 apiece. Mayo 17, Dublin 17. We'll break the game down now, and we'll obviously clip this part out for the match reaction a little bit later on. We'll fly through some comments here. James says you were sweating. We were. Look, I'm not going to lie. We were certainly sweating towards the end of the game. I don't think it was Dublin's best performance today. I don't think they were brilliantly at their best. I think there was moments we were a little bit sloppy. Shots, pass selection at times is a little bit unusual. But look, in the end, we dug it out. We got the draw, which, look, is the most important thing. It puts us straight through to the quarterfinals, which at the end of the day was the most important thing. But look, both teams, you have to commend both teams today. Like, the shooting from both sides was very, very good. Like, first half was a little bit cagey. Dublin took a while. Like, both teams really took a while to get going. Like, the first point from play wasn't until the 12th minute when Tommy Conroy put the ball on the back of the net. But Dublin kept themselves, just, it felt like we always had Mayo at arm's length. We were just about doing enough. Ryan O'Donoghue getting a couple of points for Mayo was obviously very impressive. But Cormac Costello, like, what a performance from him today. Like, an absolute colossal of a performance from Cormac Costello. Like, absolutely outstanding. There's no other way of putting it. 7 points in total. He obviously gets the point at the end of the game as well. It was absolutely brilliant. No doubts about that. Really, really good stuff from him. Brian Fenton had a decent game as well. And Dublin, it wasn't easy. The second half, there was moments where it looked like Dublin were going to kick more into gear. Like, we hit 3 on the bounce without reply, like at the start of the second half. Then Mayo came flying back with 3 on the bounce themselves. And look, it got nervy. It got frantic towards the end. Both teams were losing possession. It looked like it was there for Mayo maybe to kick on and potentially win it as well. And it was a little bit mental. And look, some dodgy refereeing decisions, some soft frees given to Dublin, some soft frees given to Mayo. Like, I think it works both ways. The 45 at the end for Reap, it was not a 45. Clear as day, we can see that it was not a 45. Fenton probably should have had a free the other way as well. But look, in the end, it ends as a draw, so it is what it is. We can't give out about refereeing decisions and everything else. And I don't really like to do that either. I don't think there was anything definitive that changed the outcome of the game. I think in the end, this was a fair result. But look, the shooting from both sides was absolutely off the charts. Like, absolutely brilliant. And look, you have to commend Mayo because, it's an age-old expression that Mayo just don't go away. They don't back down. They always keep fighting. And they showed that today. 3 points down at the start of the second half. They then went 2 points down. They managed to turn that around and were a point up. And look, in the end, they nearly got the win. What a famous win it would have been for them. But look, I would be very confident that you see Mayo back in those quarterfinals and potentially even further than that with the way that they played today. They're absolutely brilliant. Jack Carney was outstanding. Jordan Flynn, I thought, had a very good game. Matcher Rowan with 2 points. Aidan O'Shea only scored 1 point, I think, in the game. But, his physical presence at times, like, he was causing absolute havoc for that Dublin defence. And he is such a presence. Like, he's probably not, as we know nowadays, the most technically gifted footballer in the world. But look, he is a physical presence and he is a handful and he makes things happen. And look, Ryan O'Donoghue was very, very good as well. 7 points, obviously, from him. Conor Loftus, who came on, did make a big, big impact, obviously, as well. And speaking of substitutions, like Dublin, few of their bench obviously made an impact. Paul Mannion, Jack McCaffrey, obviously, both getting on the score sheet as well. So, look, it was a nervy finish. It was a frantic finish. You didn't know what way this game was going to end. But look, in the end, we got the draw, which, a bit like the Armagh situation, it's not a win, but it does put us through to the All-Ireland quarterfinals directly. So there we go. A2 says, commit the hour, commit the man. Yeah, he stood up massively there, Costello. Brilliant stuff. And I think he's won man of the match there on RTE as well, so can't complain. Dublin was great. Says, I was scared for a bit there. Yeah, there was a minute there towards the end. You're thinking, geez, I think we're actually going to lose this. And we looked fairly in control, I felt, for the majority of the game. Like, don't get me wrong, Mayo kept on plugging away and they kept on pushing back, you know, but I think Mayo only ever led once in that second half, and that was right at the end. So, you know, I felt like we were always in control. I felt like, you know, the game was there for us to win, but just towards the end, we just sort of lost that control. And, you know, Mayo obviously get that 45. They get the other free from Ryan O'Donoghue as well. So look, you know, in the end, we nearly lost it, but look, to be fair, thank God. Anyway, we go straight through to the quarterfinals. You know, and it's not that we wouldn't win a preliminary round. We certainly would, but you know, you don't want to be getting Kerry in a quarterfinal. You don't want to be getting Donegal either, in my opinion. You know, you want to have the best possible route through. So, but look, Mayo, they'll be there. They will be there, and like looking at a performance like that, they're certainly the one team you don't want to get. They're certainly the one team you don't want to get in that second place position. Fair play to Mayo. That was a tough game. They're going to be in the mix. Absolutely. James's great game. It was a brilliant game. Proper game of ball. Credit to both teams. Mayo v Derry in Castlebar next week. Yeah, look, it could be possible. And that would be very interesting. Like, just looking at Derry's potential opponents, like they could get Louth, they could get Tyrone, or they could get Mayo. So like there's going to be, we're either going to get the Mickey Hart story against Louth or the Mickey Hart story against Tyrone, or it's going to be Mayo and Derry. And what an absolute cracker of a game that would be. Like as I was saying earlier, we'll be away for the games next week, but if it's Mayo Derry, I'll 100% have to watch that somehow now. Make no question about that. But yeah, look, nervy finish towards the end. You know, certainly, I was certainly nearly screaming at the TV there. But we get the draw, we get the result, and we push on now into the quarterfinals. It wasn't Dublin's best performance, but again, I think a lot of that was down to how good Mayo played and how difficult they made it for us. You know, they were really in our faces, and they didn't bow down, and they showed a lot of fight. And I think for Mayo in general, considering like obviously how the game finished against Galway, losing obviously to Dublin in the way that they did, the performance against Kerry the year before, you know, there's been a few disappointing performances in there for Mayo. This was not one of them. Like, this was very good in fairness. But look, Dublin done enough. We done enough to get the draw, and that was the most important thing. I'll just fly through some scores here before we finish up. Cormac Costello with 7, Colin Baskell with 2. I thought Baskell really grew into the game more so towards the end. Paddy Small on the score sheet, Kilkenny, Noel Scully all getting on there as well. Sean Bugler getting a point. Owen Merchant getting a point as well. Paul Mannion, Jack McCaffrey coming off the bench. Ryan O'Donoghue, very good, 7 points. He did miss 1 or 2 frees, which was a little bit unusual. He dropped one short. He put another one wide as well. So maybe a few unusual misses there. But overall, 7 points, very good. Tommy Conroy with 3. Aidan O'Shea and Jordan Flynn both on the score sheet. Matt Ruan with 2. Stephen Cohen with 1. Colm Reap with a point. And Conor Loftus got on the score sheet as well. So, look, in fairness to Mayo, they brought the energy. And just looking back here toward, you know, the frantic finish towards the end, McCaffrey into Costello, you were nearly thinking he could have nearly got a goal. You know, there was nearly a half goal chance there, but he puts the ball over the bar. We get the draw, and in the end, that's enough. Martin says great coverage. Yeah, appreciate it. You know, it would have been a very different mood if Mayo had won this game now. But in fairness, I would have kept it unbiased and everything else, you know. But yeah, fair play to both teams. A cracking game of football. I think football needed that as well. Look, the Armagh Galway game yesterday wasn't great. It was fairly desperate. Look, it came to life towards the last 10-15 minutes. But overall, it wasn't a great game of football. Derry Westmeath earlier yesterday was desperate as well. You know, the Kildare Laois game, watched a bit of that earlier. It was okay. But overall, like, you know, we haven't had too many great games of football so far this year. I think this was one of them. I think this was a very good game. Second half was outstanding. Shooting from both teams was absolutely brilliant as well. Look, man of the match, I'll go with Cormac Costello. I think that goes without saying. He was absolutely outstanding. 7 points, absolutely brilliant. Like, carried the trek completely to Mayo. And he was absolutely brilliant from a Dublin perspective today. There's absolutely no doubts or no getting away from that. For Mayo, look, they had some big performance. Jack Carney, I think, had a very good game. Ryan O'Donoghue was there. Aidan O'Shea was certainly a presence as well. But look, overall, happy with the draw as a Dublin fan. Certainly work to be done going into those quarterfinals, because look, there will be, some good teams coming out of those quarterfinals, and I'm quite glad that Mayo probably won't be one of them, because obviously there can't be repeat pairings. So we obviously couldn't get Mayo in a quarterfinal, and I'm kind of happy about that, because geez, they gave us quite a scare today. But yeah, look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But anyone who tuned in, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, that would be great. And until the next one, we'll catch you all then. And yeah, cheers for tuning in. Speak to you all soon.